So I get to Scotland and I sit down with my mate and I'm telling him, I'm like, Andy, I had this idea for a book, mate. Like, rapid book, it's going to be amazing. I've told him, I read out the wee paragraph I wrote when I was on the train in America, right? And I read it out to him and he's like, right, so let me get this straight, right? You went all the way to America, right? All the way to America to write a story about Scotland.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
The reason I'm writing this is because, I mean, obviously there's things I want to say about the world. There's like things that I believe in. See, the real reason I'm writing this story, I mean, obviously I want to tell a great story that entertains people and makes people laugh and all that. I also kind of want to give people like a bit of knowledge about the world and teach them stuff that they can use in the real world. But really, like, I'm just making a thing that I wish existed. I mean, I wish this book was written so I could read it myself. And if it was already written, I wouldn't have to bother reading it. I mean, I wouldn't have to write it if it was already written. If the book was already written, I wouldn't have to write it. So that would have been handy. How the story first came to be is a very interesting story in itself. Originally, I wanted to write a story of gangsters, obviously. And that's how the story began. But then there was other influences that I would want to bring into the story, such as street art and my own experiences. So basically, I created each of the three characters to let me tell the stories I want to tell in the same story but in the same narrative. So if I want to talk about gangsters, I would do the Snake. You know what I mean? And I say I get bored of that. If I want to talk about graffiti and street art, well, I can talk about the character of the Bat. He's there for that. All the political stuff and that. And then if it's like my experiences or some story I want to tell, or something's funny or something like that, then I'll tell a story of the rat. So that's what he's all about.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I do kind of portray this other person, right? And the other person literally he's no Ross Turnbull, that other person's Ford Bill, right? Ford Bill is not someone that Ross Turnbull would actually get along with. He's a bit of an arsehole, right? There's no question.
Common book is a booklet that you use to write notes and ideas and concepts in that aren't at the point important in the part of the story that you're writing, but they're good to keep writing down because otherwise those ideas that come at you and they just disappear. So you need to be able to record them, and the best way to record them is just write them down. Right? I think it's people sometimes ask me, where do you get your ideas from? Or where does those ideas come from? And the truth is, the honest truth is, I just steal everything that I see. Alright? No shame in that. My ideas I steal from many sources. Sometimes it's things that's happened to me in the past. All of my characters are based on a combination of people that I ken, people that I like, people that I didn't like, things that have happened, people that I've known, people that I've heard about, stories people told me. All of that stuff I've collected because I feel like there's all these things that's happened out here, out there, all those things that's happened outside Edinburgh, and all these things and all these events with people that just get forgotten about because nobody's here to write them down, right? Nobody, right? And that's like the job an author, I think. An author is to record the time and history that they're living in. And I'm trying to record the time and history that I'm living in. And even though my story might be set 100 years from it, that's just like a setting. At the end of the day, it's a story about nowadays. It's a story about what's happening for the youth. It's a story about what's happening out in the world. It's a story about what's happening in technology, in the media, in the culture, in the economy, everything. I want to bring everything that's in my mind, all the things that I'm seeing outside, all that stuff, bring it all together and make something fit. Also, it's good to have a notepad where you can draw stuff. That's always a good idea. You can draw up plans for your story. You can draw up like maps, pictures of people, like the characters and stuff like that. That's always good if you're a visual learner, especially. That's really useful. Like, I feel like writing a story, I've got no choice in it, right? If I do it, tough. I need to do it, and it's not even really up to me. It's almost like
something, like, it's like almost like a ghost that's came in my bedroom at night and whispered in my ear, you've got to write the story. It's important that you do it. And shit, maybe I didn't want to write a story. Maybe I ought to be a normal person and know how to do all this stuff, but somehow it's chosen me to do it. And I'm glad, because I really feel like I can actually do this. I feel like I can actually bring all these things in the world together and make something new that people love.
Give me that! Give me that thing! Give me that thing! I didn't care if I make any money for it. I didn't care if it gets nowhere. I didn't care if the critics hate it and slag me all the time. I didn't care if the world laughs at me, right? If one person out there, if there's one person out there somewhere in the world that reads my story and goes, "Ken what? I'm not alone. I'm not the only person who feels like this. I feel like this as well." And if I can make them feel comfortable, kenning that they're not alone, like I feel like a lot of times I feel like I'm alone in my thoughts. If I can reach those people out there who are out there somewhere, if I can get to them and say it and get them to believe that they're not in the rain, things can get better, and it's no, the world isn't just falling down, it's going to be fine. If I can make those people feel better, yeah, I've done my job. Right? It was when I heard punk rock that something in my mind just like, something just clicked. And I remember the first punk rock song that I really loved, like really, and to this day it's like one of my favourite songs, is Amoeba by Adolescents. And I heard that song when I was like 9, 10, whatever age I was. When I heard that song for the first time, I was blown away. Because I never knew music could get like this. I never knew that music could be, like, I could actually feel the way I feel inside. And this pop bullshit, right? This was music that felt the way I felt. And that just blew my mind. And then I kind of felt like, one day I'll make stuff that does people do that. One day I'll make things that make people be like, oh, that's me. That's how I feel. And everything else is just been trying to numb my brain, but this stuff here, this actually speaks my language, and that's what I've been trying to do, and that's what I'm trying to do with this book, right? That should be the speed montage bit.
You see me like...
A story I wrote when I was at primary school. My fucking handwriting. Mate.
That's got to focus on this. Do it like a Star Wars story.
Right, it's all the shit. Man, I used to love that shit. Look at, I used to have so much fun, like just writing and drawing. Oh, it was great. And tell you what, the thought of letting someone else edit my story, right? I would rather burn the story than let someone else edit it. I would rather burn it, right? And I'll tell you why. Because the thing is, this story is what's inside me, right? And I can't let nobody from the outside pervert what's already in here, no matter how perverted what's in here already is, alright? I need to do it myself. I need to do this whole thing myself. And when I say the whole thing, I don't mean just mean writing a couple notes. I mean, I need to write the story, I need to edit the story, I need to do the artwork for the story, I need to do the layouts for the story, I need to do the promotions for the story, I need to make all the collectibles and all the stuff, everything, merchandise, you name it. Because to me, this is more than just a story, a book that's got to be sold, and it's more than that for me. It might be for you, it might just be a story, but for me it's much more. This is a brand I'm trying to build, it's a philosophy I'm trying to build, it's like a manifesto that I'm writing. And manifestos do not burn, so I cannot let anyone else edit it, right? I need to be me, it needs to be me. That might sound selfish, maybe, I don't know, but I just want to take 100% complete executive control over my own creativity, right? I don't need to tell me how to write it, right? And I'll take advice from people, obviously, and I'll learn how to write a good book and all that, but no one's going to tell me how to do it, alright? I do it my way, or it's not getting done, and it will get done, so I'm doing it my way. Almost everything I've ever wrote, I've told Andy about. I've told him, I run through my ideas to him. It's good to have somebody there that you can kind of tell your ideas to, and then they can give a bit of feedback. That's always good. Before you write anything down, just as like when it's in your head, there's a rough idea. So like there's been times I've sat with him and bored the shit out of him, telling him about this like stuff for hours on end, just like stupid ideas I've had, and I've just kind of expected him just to kind of just say what he thinks. If he thinks it's boring, he says it's boring.
It's not boring, but
If you speak out your ideas out loud to somebody, you kind of start to understand it better. I mean, like, you start to like come up with more ideas, or you can see things a different point of view, or if you read the dialogue out, you can kind of see if it works or not.
I poured everything I put into these fucking books, like. And in my dream I turned around and on the wall there was like my artwork, it was like this basically. But it was like ice cream and it was melting down the wall. Like that. It was melting down the wall. And it kind of gave me an inspiration. I woke up in the dead of night and I wrote that idea down. I had this dream in that. And it just, the way I imagine it being is like just a big long strip. And I just think it'd be quite interesting. So I'm calling it a scroll for now. As part of the scrolls, there were typographic elements that I wanted to include. I thought were really nice. I came up with loads of ideas that basically became these. This was like the original run through. These were all the original ideas that I came up with. And there's ways I could play with text and different things I could do and with the layout and just wee ideas and wee things I wanted to do. And what I've done is I've got all these ideas and I've tried to kind of like make sense of them and put some order in it. And this is what I came up with. This is like the two scrolls for, well, this is like the 2 pages of the one scroll here. Try to make it really kind of typographic based, obviously, and just quite fun. I kind of look at it and it's a bit like it looks to me like a bit like an infographic. So it's kind of like an infographic that's used as a storytelling device. A good tip to writing a note is to write every day. But the trick to writing every day is not to burn yourself out. It's not to do 1,000 million words in one sitting. It's not about that. It's about doing what you can do. For example, tell yourself, try and write a page today. Or try and write 100 words a day. Try and write a paragraph a day. And what to do is make that a regular thing. So every morning, or every night, whenever you prefer doing it, do it at the same time every day. And eventually it starts to just come natural. Your brain kind of tends to help you with it. Because your brain wants to help you. Of course it does. So like, I find that one of the best places ever to write is actually on the bus. Right? And that's because like, you're contained and it forces you to be creative. All you can do is you can sit and look at the window when you actually hate something. And that's what I feel like I can actually focus better, concentrate better when I'm actually on the bus. So right now I'm in my hometown of Dalkeith. I'm taking pictures to use for the book. Some really interesting architecture in this town, that's for sure. See, like, whenever people usually ask me, like, hey, what's your story about? And whenever people ask me that, I find it really difficult to answer them what the story's about, because it's hard to say, right? And usually I end up just telling them, oh, it's about technology, oh, it's about the future, or, oh, it's about this and that. And that is not actually always accurate. It's just what I tell people, because I can't be bothered explaining them, going into the fine points. But people say what the story is about, and I mean that is a hard question to answer for any writer, and especially if you've written what I've written. It's very difficult to kind of pinpoint what the story's about. But right now, looking at the story right now, and where it's at, I would just say it's a story about life, right? Like, the story isn't necessarily a good versus evil story, right? I mean, there is good, there's evil, but it's not a good versus evil story, and it's no
a rags to riches story, and there is rags and there is riches, but it's not a rags to riches story. The story is about 3 different people, and they put their lives in a very specific time period. And lucky for me, that time period hasn't been created yet, so I'm free to reign wherever I want. But here I am. Here I am. Who's going to stop me? You.
It's making me sick. Making me sick.
So basically, I want to be a writer. I want to write stories because it's pretty much the only job I think that I would actually be able to fully enjoy and also live the life I want to live at the same time. I think if I can make good quality stories that many people enjoy, I'll be able to make a living that will also allow me to A, make more stuff that people like, but also like live a life that will allow me to experience the kind of things that I want to write about and tell people about and raise awareness of. I love writing. It's like if I was both hands, I would be typing with my feet. You know what I mean? I would never. I'm never gonna give up, no matter what. I feel like I have to write a story. Like it's not actually up to me. I feel like it's like I've been chosen to write it, but there's no backing out. Okay, there's no backing out. I need to write this novel now. I've came this far. I need to continue it. I need to finish it, and I'm gonna enjoy it. But it's gonna be a very difficult process. And if it doesn't kill me, then on to the next book. That you're creative enough, right? Every man, every woman, every child in this world has got the power to create whatever you want. You don't have to be talented. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to make stuff, alright? If you want to be a writer, right, there are some things I can tell you that might help you. Things that I wish somebody had told me, alright? The first thing is just write. Writer's block doesn't exist, right? Sometimes you might not be bored to write. That's called writer's laziness. And I get that all the time, trust me, right? I get that a lot. But the trick is just to force yourself to write stuff. Make things all the time. What you make might be absolute cack, right? It might not work. It might be terrible. It might just be no right. But at least you made it. At least you wrote something. It's better than nothing, right? And that one thing you might have wrote that might be pap. Maybe that'll lead you on to the real thing. Who knows? When you're writing, imagine yourself, you're like a detective, right? And you're building a case note to take something done. You're trying to build up your evidence, you're trying to write down all the facts, you're trying to separate what's true, what's not true. You're trying to get all that information and you're trying to build a case. That case is a book. You are a detective. You need to get everything that you see, interrogate people, get everything together, collect all the evidence and push your case forward. And that's the way to write. Alright?